Hello and welcome back to the Matrix Green Pill podcast. I'm Hilmarie Hutchison, and today we have an extraordinary guest. He's a multifaceted entrepreneur, former Olympic alpine skier, and founder of FlexoFix, a cutting-edge clinic in the UAE. From excelling in sports like squash, weightlifting, and jiu-jitsu to disrupting the physical rehabilitation and tech industries, Karl Dariane brings a unique blend of discipline, innovation, and a human-centric approach to everything he does. I'm excited to dive into his inspiring journey and learn about his ventures across wellness, tech, and more. Karl, welcome and thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you very much for having me.
Can we start off by you giving us a bit of background about yourself and an introduction to your journey?
So my name is Karl Dariane. I've been an athlete for as long as I can remember. We were brought up in a household where everyone has to do sports. My mom was an ex-Olympian as well, an ex-athlete. So it's pretty much embedded in our blood to be into sports. I've grown up in Saudi Arabia where we also did a lot of sports. Then we moved to Lebanon, Canada. I moved a lot around to ski a lot. From there, I've started working into hotels because there was a hotel next to the ski slope. So it was very convenient. Also, my very deep passion is for hotels and restoration and hospitality. It was a great combination, to be fair. I used to ski in the morning, work in the afternoon. From there, I grew into loving sports more and more, started competing a little bit more. I've had some really downs when it came to injuries, and that is pretty much what got me to opening up FlexoFix. Is I've sustained quite a few injuries due to in all the sports that I've gone through. I've had a lot of injuries, and this is what pushed me to open FlexoFix. And then from there, I started understanding my body a little more every time I got injured. So I think people will understand where we're at, is that you get injured, but you don't know what's happening. You go to your physiotherapists and you go to your constant medical doctor and they just solve the issue. They just put a band-aid, put some ice, treat the issue. But I kept getting injured over and over again and didn't understand why. So it got me frustrated. And because of the amount of curiosity I have for everything in the world, I started digging deeper and deeper into why I got injured. And that's what pushed me to open FlexoFix, which is getting you to understand your body better, getting you to understand why and how to treat yourself and help everyone around us.
Wow. Okay. That was a long introduction. We'll dive a little deeper into some of those areas.
Yes.
So I love, first of all, that your family was so into sports and that was just like a given you had to do. So that's an excellent way your parents raised you. That's excellent. Then you mentioned traveling to Canada because of your sports. Did I get that right?
So we moved from Saudi to Lebanon a little bit and then back to Canada. But my sport got me to travel a lot around. So I traveled to train a lot throughout Europe. So after Canada, we moved back to a very short period there. We moved back to Lebanon. And from there, this is where I started training more and more and then traveling a little bit more and for skiing.
And then how did you get into skiing? I mean, you don't imagine skiing in Saudi Arabia. How did you get into the skiing side of things?
Well, like I said, mom was a skier as well. So she is the one that got us into skiing. So we started skiing at a very young age through the winters. So we started skiing when we were in winter in Lebanon. And then from there, I started loving it, started competing in it. And this is where I got hooked and wanted to continue what my mom used to do so much. So yeah, I started competing in skiing and training more and more. And that's how I got to Olympic level.
You said at that level is when you started injuring yourself.
Yes, correct. When someone starts adapting and starts going to sports more and more, you inevitably get injured. And a lot of the times is because of lack of understanding of what you're doing or overcompensating in things. And that's how I got it. I started getting, knee injuries and back injuries. And of course, you do get your occasional crashes in skiing, which is inevitable. I think my knee injury held me back so much through my career and unfortunately did stop me to continue. So that's why I had to shift sports, did other things as well.
Then you mentioned that during this period when you were skiing as much, you also developed at the same time your love and your passion for hospitality. What part of hospitality was it that attracted you?
We were lucky enough that when we traveled a lot, I was in and out of hotels quite a lot. And I loved, I'll say, the human side of it. There's always that care. There was always the service part and the constant talking to people, the constant socialization that you had through clients, through team members. So this is what I love. I loved helping people. I loved being there. And I used to get it so much because of traveling around. So this is what got me really hooked. And I said, I really want to get into this. I really want to hopefully one day have my own hotel. That's how I got into management. Also, we do have a family hotel where I used to work. And this is what also got me really hooked in that I wanted to take over and all. But I did decide to move along, travel the world, work around the world to be able to get more experience and then run the hotel.
Once you realized that skiing professionally or for the Olympics, once your injuries got so bad that you could not pursue that anymore, then you decided to go into the hospitality business full time, right?
Yes.
Okay, so how did your Olympic and your alpine skiing and all that experience that you have, how did your background in competitive sports influence your approach to business?
It's kind of really simple. It's that dedication that we had. It's the discipline that we built throughout the years of training. While we train, we're always really closely monitored by our coaches. And there's a lot of discipline that has come through it. There's a lot of desire to grow and desire to become better. And I think that is going to be one of the biggest ones. It's just really the passion for what you love. And I know everyone says, do what you love. And I actually am doing what I love, which is really good. And it's the passion for me to grow. It's the dedication for me to become better at what I do and what I want to become as a professional in business and in sports.
You mentioned the injuries, you got into hospitality. But then you also mentioned in your introduction about learning about your body. How did then translate into business?
Funny enough is that I've had quite a few injuries and I was actually not allowed to prescribe by my doctors back then. Not allowed to do any sports, which kind of frustrated me because I was always an adrenaline junkie. I always had to do something, had to keep running, keep doing something. I took a step back to really understand why was it so difficult, and my curiosity started getting aroused. And I started working with my sister, who was actually a ballerina, and started understanding a little bit more about functionality, movement. And this got deeper and deeper into it. Once you dig into the rabbit hole, I started working a little bit more with movement mechanics professionals, with physiotherapists, with chiropractors. It was a personal journey for me to really understand that. And then from there, I wanted to create a protocol. I wanted to create a little program. I wanted to create something to help people because I knew that I wasn't the only one out there that was suffering from injuries that kept happening and didn't really know what to do about it. From there, I started developing a little bit more of a protocol, which is flexology, what we also started FlexoFix with. And that got me into the business. That got me into saying that, that could really help a lot of people. I started developing that more and more. Now, if we're going to go into details about how we've gone into FlexoFix, that also is all about the innovations that I wanted to include to help more people.
Before we get sort of into that one, yes, I'd love you to unpack that. So basically, you were driven to understand your body, why and how injuries happen, and then also how to deal with them. This also then led you to say, you know what, other people can learn from this. Let me create a solution. Let me create a protocol to help others who has injuries because you've not done this work. So I think that is one of the things that in business, right, is to find a problem, find a solution for an existing problem. That helps with success. That is the key to business success, is to find a problem and then create a solution for it. And that gap you saw, and then you started creating a solution for that problem. Unpack FlexoFix for us a little bit.
I've learned through the realignment of the body through the muscular chain is what really basically is the core of FlexoFix, is understanding of how to realign your body, how to eliminate all those imbalances that causes these injuries. From there, I understood that it isn't enough. When you go to see your physician or your practitioner, you can't just be doing one thing and then that's going to get you back 100%. You have to look at it much bigger scale. I started digging a little deeper and I understood that, I needed a bit more modalities to help this protocol that I've created because I knew it wasn't completely enough. As much as we've had tremendous success and seen some beautiful stories come out of people adapting our protocol, I thought to myself, I needed more. So I've researched a bit more and started understanding that through this modality, we increase blood flow through the body and releasing tension. So I looked at things that help, even further improve that blood flow and improve that circulation. We added hyperbaric oxygen chambers to the mix. After that, I understood that we had a great partnership with a company in the US, and they showed us and they taught us that There was vibroacoustic bed, PEMF. So vibroacoustic bed is to help release tension and to help the brave functionality to really calm down, brave stress to calm down, to really be able to reduce the tension in the muscles, of course, in the nervous system, which is the most important thing. And then we added red light therapy. Few months later, few practices, more clients coming in. I thought, no, I need a little bit more to that. So we added chiropractor and physiotherapist as well. The beautiful thing about what we do and the very different aspect, our unique selling point where it comes to FlexoFix, is that we don't only help by telling you to do this therapy or do this therapy. You come in and you do this amazing assessment. So we really funnel down into what is going on with your body, how your body functions. And then from there, we set a program. Why I created this whole thing? Because I wanted people to have different modalities into their program. So you have to do some chiropractic sessions, then you have to do some physiotherapy sessions, then you have to do some flexology sessions, then you jump into the hyperbaric. And this is what really puts everything in a really good bundle and heals you faster and in a more comprehensive way.
That sounds fantastic. So you've created a holistic approach to dealing with injuries to help the body to heal.
Yes.
Do you bring everybody together in one space? Is FlexoFix in one treatment center, or do you have people that they go to at different locations, if that question makes any sense?
This is part of the success that we've had is I was able to have a much bigger space. So from working from a tiny little office, an underground office, to having a treatment room office where all the modalities are under one roof is, my biggest success, I'll say. And this is what's so good is that you don't need to go anywhere else. You just come in. All the therapists, all of us are well in tune with everyone's problems and issues, and we all communicate with each other. So it's not that every time you go to a therapist, you have to repeat your story. You have to repeat your treatment. You have to start from ground zero. Everything is all an additional back to back. So that's what's making it even better for the clients and in a more comfortable journey. And that's what, my hospitality background helps in, is that customer journey throughout the process of healing.
How many of these centers have you set up?
We have just one beautiful Business Bay. We're located in Business Bay.
So you're located in Business Bay. Unpack for us, if a client comes into you, the steps that they go through, because you mentioned you do the assessment. Let's unpack that. Somebody is injured from sports injury or any other injury, I imagine. They come to you, and what are the steps that you take?
Before I do that, I just want to clarify one thing is it's really important for people to understand that what we do isn't just helping solve or helping treat injuries. It's helping you prevent injuries. So it's as preventative as it is corrective. If whoever comes in, the beautiful thing is that whether he has an injury or not, is the assessment is going to give us a great understanding of their bodies. We look at their mobility, stability, strength, range of motion. We look at the resistance, their reactive pattern, their nervous system, if it's in tune. We look at their balance. So imagine going through a session where you really depict every single bit of your body to really understand, my ankle is not right here. My knee is not right there. So we really build an entire blueprint of your body. From there, we're able to put you on a program. And we say, okay, so because of whichever imbalance you have or injury you have, we're going to put you on a couple sessions of physiotherapy, 2 sessions of chiropractic to readjust this, 3 sessions of that. And then throughout your program, we adjust everything. If we feel that your progress is much faster than others, then we'll change the program and we'll adjust to make sure that. The very important part is that we work in 3 pillars. Number 1 is we eliminate any pain. So it's pain management to start with. Then it's going to be restructuring. And then finally, we finish with strengthening and stability. So there's always 3 stages, and it's quite a comprehensive journey. So throughout those stages, we constantly follow up with you. There's constant emails, phone calls. You come back for recalls. There's video for exercises you can do at home. So it's really a full bundle package. When you come here, you're completely taken care of.
That's amazing. Now, I'm going to just jump a little bit back because I don't think we asked this question in the beginning. How did you end up in Dubai, and why did you open this facility in Dubai?
I was in the hotel sector. So from Lebanon, when I stopped competing and I stopped my career in skiing, I had the opportunity to move with the company I used to work with, which is Intercontinental. There was an opportunity for me to move in Dubai if I wanted to. I thought to myself, that'd be good exposure. And supposedly I was supposed to stay for 1 year, and 15 years later, I'm still in Dubai.
Amazing. It's such a typical story we hear with so many of our guests that came for a short time and ended up staying. Excellent. That makes sense explains then how you got into opening the facility in Dubai, the clinic you opened in Dubai.
It started as just a facility, like you said, and now we're a bit more medical because we do have doctors with us. So we are backed by science. We are backed by professionals that are properly, I'll say, qualified, and we are DHA qualified as well.
Is your focus more on sports people, professional sports people, or do you provide services for regular people as well?
I'll say everyone. I know that a lot of people are going to comment on that, but we are for everyone, because we do think that we can help everyone in every manner possible. If you're someone that is just someone that sits a lot during your days, you don't do a lot of sports, we can help you. We can help fix your posture. If you're someone that is a, average Joe that goes to the gym every couple of days, we can help you. If there's a child that wants to get into sports, we can help. If there's an old person, we can help. There's always a solution, because every single thing that we do is completely tailor-made to the person, for the person.
And also what I'm hearing you saying is for the professional sports person or somebody who takes their sports seriously, necessarily have to be professional. Somebody who's doing a lot of sports, they love what they're doing, but they're starting to get those small injuries or something is just not quite correct. They come to you, they go through your assessment, through your process. You can help them identify the issues so that you can prevent further damage or prevent them from doing any sort of long-term damage. Is that right?
Absolutely. It's a word we like to use here at the clinic. We do a lot of prehab. So preventative rehabilitation. It's something that's really important, especially if someone wants to get into sport or someone that is at a very high level and says, I've hit a plateau. I need to get to that level. What do I do? This is what we can help you with. We have the modalities. Hyperbaric oxygen chamber can help tremendously. It's a phenomenal tool that we have. The assessment, again, I go back to the assessment because it really gives us such a big understanding. It's all monitored. It's all measured. Your before and after. And that's how we're able to help everyone.
Excellent. So it's a really great solution for everybody. Now, you mentioned earlier about a new tech startup aimed at disrupting the service industry. Could you share more information behind your idea, behind the initiative and its potential impact?
Like you said before, it's about finding the gap in an industry. And I'll say it could be a great thing, but at the same time, it's really hard to keep up with it. I'm always hungry for more. So I faced a gap because I travel a little bit around and I've worked in the UK a little bit with my brother and I've been around a little bit. So I've realized that there was a gap where we can help a lot of people reach out from being a trader to reach out to more potential clients and then clients to reach professional traders around. We are piloting this venture in the UK. Unfortunately, I can't really share too much to it still because we're about to launch. So I don't want to spill everything out now, but it is something that's going to increase accessibility for traders, for professionals that need a voice or need a platform to showcase their talents. And it's going to open this up to all the consumers that do need that kind of services. We do believe, and we've gone around and we've done our studies, and I think we do believe that it's going to be quite significant impact for everyone that is going to use our platform. And that's going to open up a lot of opportunities for people to work.
My goodness, how exciting. I mean, your career, you're involved with hospitality, physical rehabilitation, tech startups. How do you navigate in such diverse industries?
The beginning, it was always, I can do it myself. But what you learn from sports is that there's always a need for help. And what you learn from the healthcare sector, which I'm in as well, is you do need help. So I've had the blessings to partner up with some amazing people. And I think that it's about delegating. It's about knowing when to say that you can take this part, I can take this part. And that's what makes it so successful. So my partner is an IT guru. He has a lot of say and a lot of help into the tech aspect. Every other businesses that we're going through, I always make sure that I partner up with someone that is very knowledgeable about the subject, is a professional in the subject, and that's what's helped. I'm a bit more into the creative side. I come up with the idea and then I throw it out to everyone.
In our team, we work with something called the working geniuses, and every person has got their own genius. So your genius is the wonder and invention, where you're coming up with the ideas and then somebody else takes that idea further and progresses it. It's brilliant. So the takeaway from that is don't try and do everything yourself. Try and tap into other people's skills. Let them work with you so that each one can bring their strength to the table and then create something together. And this sort of goes on to my next question, because I know that, as I mentioned in the introduction, you are still very much involved with sports. How do you balance your own love for sport and the sport that you still do with all these different professional ventures that you are involved with?
Is it a perfect lifestyle? No, it's not. There's a lot of work that goes into it, but I try to make sure that I balance as much as I can. I try to block out specific hours, like in mornings are specifically made for my activities, my sports. I wake up quite early to be able to do them before my day goes through and it becomes hell of emails and phone calls and clients coming in and out. So I think it's just being able to dedicate that hour and making sure that no matter what you plan, there's always that blocked hour that you can't touch. And that's my me time at the gym.
Right. So actually being intentional about it, blocking out the time so that you can ensure that you're going to have those times for your physical. Yeah.
I make it a point that, I will take no calls, no meetings. I will not start before 8:30 a.m. just because, I have to have my time. For me, it's extremely important mentally for me. And I think it's extremely important for everyone to have their time and to have their time to focus, their time to breathe out, loosen up, anything that makes them feel really good. And this is why I think that it's helped me tremendously to be able to have that work-life balance. And at the same time, it's helping me, physically and keep up with the physical aspect of it.
I think that's excellent advice because, as you say, if you don't plan for it, if you don't cut out or block out that time, then because everything gets away from everything becomes important or an urgency, then if you didn't plan, if you didn't make that plan or didn't get it done before the day, then you would have missed out on that opportunity. So I think that's excellent advice. And I know I also mentioned in the beginning about your human-centric approach to things. How do you incorporate a human-centric approach into your ventures, and why do you think it's so important in today's business world?
I've always been someone that has a soft side for humanity. I've always been really nice. My mom keeps telling me sometimes you're too nice. We take it from our parents. Our parents run a lot of organizations and helped a lot of organizations through the years, nonprofit organizations, and helped people a lot. My parents still do it till today. So it's something that is extremely valuable to me. It's part of the values that I have, and it's part of the values that I project in every single venture and every single company that I've opened. And I think it's extremely important because we tend to lose track. We tend to look at numbers. We tend to look at figures more than we look at people. I think this is where we fail as professionals. It's so important to make sure that there is that human touch. There is that connection. It's not only about email. I love to take my time and go see my clients, go see my suppliers, even if it means to sacrifice a few days to travel, go see the suppliers who we work with. It really builds that proper connection. And without a proper connection, you never get anywhere. And thankfully, I was able to build those proper connections, and those are helping me so far in every single aspect that I can move into businesses.
I love that. You put humans first before everything else. I think that's an excellent approach to business because just to, as you say, if it's all only about business, only about money, only about success or accomplishments, and you forget the human side, then what was it all about at the end of the day?
Exactly. I mean, I've been victim of being one of those numbers where I was expected to do this and I was expected to do that. There's no consideration of anything else. I would never see it any other way to really make sure that, you take your time, you have a lot of empathy for people that work with you, that work around you. And I think that we do need a bit more of this in this super fast-paced city. We tend to forget a little bit more. So it's good to have a bit more of a human touch to everything you do.
Absolutely. A good reminder. Thank you for that. Just changing directions a little bit. We try to sort of give one tip, one bit of advice to our listeners. So what advice would you give to an inspiring entrepreneur?
I would tell whoever it is, one is no matter what, don't be afraid. You're going to do a lot of mistakes. I've had more mistakes done than successes. So don't be afraid. Don't be annoyed by the mistakes you do. It is honestly, as much as you've heard it, as much as it's cliche, it is a great lesson. You have to accept it as a lesson and not as, let your ego get in the way. And then second thing is really learn a lot about the industry you want to get into. Try not to get into something you really don't understand because it's just going to be too hard, too complicated for you. It's going to frustrate you and you might end up hating what you actually love. Just, really dig into what you want to do, talk to people, share with people, ask a lot of help. That's what's going to get you up there.
Excellent advice. I love that. So don't go into an industry you don't understand, because if you don't understand it, it's going to be too hard to make a success of it.
There's a lot of people out there that are going to compete with you. At the end of the day, it is constant competition no matter what you do. What you want to do is you want to really make sure you understand every bit of that industry so you're successful. It's not about don't go into it and never look at it. It's about don't go into it if you haven't really mastered or have gotten experience and have gone around, done your research, done your due diligence.
Excellent advice. Thank you for that. So now it's time to kick things up a notch in a segment we like to call the Green Pill Game Show. This is where I'll throw you some rapid fire questions your way. Are you ready?
Yes.
Ski slopes or squash court? Where do you feel most at home?
Ski slopes.
Favorite meal after an intense workout?
I'll have to say it's really bad, but a good heavy Lebanese food. Mixed grills, fattoush, hummus.
Sounds good. What's one book that you're currently obsessed with?
I actually really love the Losing My Virginity.
Okay. Do you have a favorite podcast?
I'll have to go with Joe Rogan. I like the diversity that he has. There's always interesting stuff that goes around there. I know people do like to listen to a little bit more educational stuff, but I use the podcast just to relax, to sit back and listen to, real life stories.
Now, I think you've already answered this in our earlier discussion, but what is the first thing you do to kickstart your day?
I go to the gym. I wake up, kiss my wife good morning, and then head to the gym at 5 a.m.
And what is one thing you do every day, no matter how busy you get?
I'll have to say it's something that my wife got me to do, is to sit and have a chat. So we never disconnect. We never forget that we're together. And I love every minute of it.
Well, that was the end of the game show. That was easy enough. Thank you for playing along. Now, I would like to ask you our signature question. If you took the green pill to go back in time and change one thing about your journey, what would it be?
If I had to go back in time and change, it would be not let my ego stop me from exploring a little more at a younger age.
Wow, excellent.
I've had a lot of ego before that really stopped me, and I refused to do things that would have probably helped me open up a lot of doors for me. Because of the ego, I let my ego get the best of me, which is why now it's all the way locked in a basement.
Is it ego or fear?
It was ego, definitely. It was ego. It's the fact that I didn't want to admit, that I've done mistakes, or I didn't want to admit that someone was better. So it really closed down a lot of doors for me, and I wish I could go back into it. Again, I'm not too sad. It did teach me quite a bit.
Very interesting. Well, thank you so much for sharing that very personal experience and the thing that you would change to do differently. I think that's a good lesson for us to take away. I appreciate that you shared that with us. Thank you again for being here today. It's been an excellent discussion. Your story of resilience, innovation, and a passion for combining sports, wellness, entrepreneurship, truly inspiring. And I'm so sure our listeners are going to really enjoy this conversation.
Thank you so much for having me.
Before we wrap up, could you tell our listeners where they can follow you and keep up with all your exciting adventures?
Yes, so we have our website that is completely renovated. So it's flexofix.co. So it's www.flexofix.co. Or you can follow us on flexo.fix on Instagram.
Excellent. Thank you. And to everyone tuning in, if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Matrix Green Pill podcast. Let's keep these fascinating conversations going. Again, to you, Karl, thank you so much for joining me. I wish you continued success in all your endeavors.
Thank you so much, Hilmarie. Hope to see you soon at the clinic.
At the clinic, yes. Thank you very much.
If you enjoy our conversations, please like and subscribe. See you next Wednesday.